Hello friends. Recovery of India's past lies on manuscripts also. This is the need of the time that we seriously take up the job of publishing texts available in manuscripts. Manuscriptology and paleography, these two branches go very together hand in hand. Now what is manuscriptology and what is paleography, that we would try to know in this program today. For this purpose we have with us these two scholars, Dr. Ratna Basu, who is reader in Sanskrit department of Calcutta University, and Professor Satkadi Mukhopadhyay, who is the coordinator of the Kalakosha division of Indira Gandhi National Center of Arts, New Delhi. Madam, would you in the first beginning tell us what is manuscriptology?
Manuscriptology is a science which covers actually three aspects involved with manuscripts. Firstly, the cataloging of manuscripts, and then the editing texts from the manuscripts, and thirdly, paleography, that is knowledge or science of ancient scripts in which the manuscripts are written.
So, what is the importance of manuscripts and manuscriptology?
The highest importance of manuscripts lies in the fact that these are living books, and these should be read, deciphered and interpreted, that is for the purpose of getting them printed. So these texts which are contained in these manuscripts have relevance for interpreting India's present and not only past, and that past of India is continuing through this present.
Why do you call these manuscripts as living books?
Yes, I emphasize on this term living because often I experience that people believe that manuscripts may be important but as specimens of old times which are of no importance, relevance, necessity for the present. So they may be exhibit elements for showing
Libraries or museums.
Yes, for libraries or museums, or for as specimens only for showing the book production by human hand. But I mean the content of those manuscripts is also quite relevant for India's present, and these manuscripts are not important as only exhibit values of something useless, but they are property of all of us, and irrespective of the caste or creed or social strata which the individuals may belong to.
So you call them or the manuscripts as the national property.
Oh, surely.
Sir, can you say something about where this national property is located? I mean, where do we find these manuscripts?
Oh, yes. Now, originally these manuscripts were the properties of individual scholars and their families and the ruling chiefs. Now, since the last quarter of the 18th century, concerted effort was made to collect those manuscripts and to preserve them in different libraries. So, quite a few collections were built up. In India, at the present moment, we have quite a few noted collections. To name a few, there is a big collection of manuscripts in the Sanskrit University of Varanasi, the manuscripts numbering above 1 lakh. And Ascetic Society in Calcutta has another collection of very important old manuscripts numbering somewhere
About
near 40,000.
40,000.
Similar collection is found in the University of Calcutta. In Pune, the most important collection is with the
Bhandarkar
Bhandarkar
Oriental
Oriental
Research
Research
Institute,
Institute, having some 40,000 manuscripts, and then comes Vedic Sanshrodhana Mandala and Anandasrama. And in Madras, there is a big collection of manuscripts in the Government Oriental Manuscript Library, some 80,000 manuscripts as it is estimated. And there are innumerable small collections with the Jain Bhandars. Those have not yet been fully explored. And besides, there are still many manuscripts in the private family collections all over the country, which are to be, it is a desideratum, that those also be surveyed and at least listed.
Now, when these manuscripts are located in various areas,
Yes.
I think there is a concentrated effort should be needed for the preservation and conservation of these manuscripts. So, are there any government safeguards or initiatives?
Yes, there is, but it is not fully adequate, I should say. As for instance, the National Archives, they have developed a section for the preservation, and they do it themselves, and they give aid, financial aid to different manuscript libraries for the preservation work. And there is a good institute in Lucknow who do the preservation and research for further development of the technology. This is a scientific technology nowadays for the preservation and conservation of manuscripts.
Means some chemicals are used.
Yes, the manuscripts are generally written on three materials that I should mention here: palm leaves and papers, old handmade papers, and birch bark, which is called bhujapatra. The preservation of these three types of materials are different. So, for manuscripts written on palm leaves, and a herbal oil is used,
That is citronella oil.
citronal.
Citronella.
Citronella. And this is used, and the effect is very good. And several chemicals have been developed to be applied to the manuscripts, so these manuscripts are not sandwiched together, and they are not they do not decay or are destroyed or moth eaten.
Yeah, I think the initiatives from some institutes also can be mentioned. For example, the IGNCA effort of microfilming.
Yes, this is not actual preservation of original manuscripts, but among the institutions, Government Oriental Manuscript Library Madras, they are doing their preservation themselves of original manuscripts, old manuscripts. And in Puri also, Bhubaneswar, the museum is doing something. But our effort in the Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts, we are not preserving original manuscripts.
Microfilming.
We are microfilming the manuscripts, manuscripts which are preserved in different collections. As for instance, Madras collection and Bhandakar Oriental Research Institute collection, Sanskrit University Varanasi collections, we have microfilmed. And this is an ongoing process. We have a fully developed, well-equipped division for this purpose.
Technical know-how.
And so far, we have microfilmed more than 80,000 titles of manuscripts. And we are cataloging them and preserving those microfilms. We have apparatus for taking photocopy out of those microfilms, so that our purpose is served. Purpose is twofold.
This but can be called as the physical preservation.
Physical preservation.
But what can be called as the scholars' initiative?
Scholars individually cannot take much initiative, but
No, from the academic viewpoint of the
academic
preservation.
viewpoint of
I think this microfilming itself is one sort of academic preservation regarding making the text available to many people and not taking the original manuscript in hand, which may be mutilated or quite in weak, brittle condition, but using the text, getting the text from the microfilm copy. The other part and the serious part of academic preservation of the material contained in the manuscripts would be naturally editing the texts from the manuscripts after reading and deciphering them. And scholars should take more and more initiative to make these texts available to people,
Yeah,
so
but
that
then this is the preservation, conservation of the physical part and academic also.
yes,
But certain kind of protection, other aspect is also involved in this protection of manuscripts.
I believe it's quite important for the case of Indian manuscripts.
As I have mentioned, that during the colonial rule, particularly in the 19th century, many valuable manuscripts were taken away out of India. So we find valuable manuscript collections in St. Petersburg, and Berlin, Paris, and London. So this process has to be stopped. Now we have a very stringent law to protect manuscripts from being pilfered
Smuggled.
or smuggled. But I am afraid that the law is not being properly enforced, since the law enforcing agencies, as they have good training for detecting gold or other valuable objects,
Like
and
ivory or-
curios and ivory and even drug
Old
or
manuscript
skin.
is not at all
Old manuscripts are not
identified.
so identified. So personnel posted in the vulnerable points should be properly trained to detect the manuscripts also, so that they are not taken away
Yes.
by the foreigners.
So as far as Indian collection is concerned,
Yes.
what are the oldest manuscripts?
The oldest manuscripts, so far my knowledge goes, are called the Gilgit manuscripts. It is a very big lot of manuscripts discovered in Central Asia and brought to India by Sir Aurel Stein. And only a portion of that manuscript was read and edited by two scholars. Those are all Buddhist manuscripts by two Buddhist scholars. One is M. Kaul and the other one is Nalinaksha Datta. And 8 volumes are published out of those manuscripts. But a big bigger part I should say, is still lying with the Archaeological Survey of India.
But then are they in readable condition?
I believe so, yes, because when the first crate was opened for the editing of those texts, it was found that at least 60% of the pages were in very good condition, Some other pages were though broken, but they could be put together and read.
Yeah, effort should be made.
Yeah.
But then in which script are these?
Those manuscripts are written in Gupta Brahmi script, the Gupta variety of Brahmi script.
So do you mean that Brahmi script has got various varieties?
Oh yes. The first specimen, oldest specimen of Brahmi is found in the epigraphs of the Mauryan Emperor Ashoka. We take those specimens as the earliest form of Brahmi. Since then it was developed in various regions and during various dynasties. So it went on developing during the reigns of the Sungas, the Kushanas, and the Bactrian Greeks, and later on the Guptas. So all these varieties came up, and this was further developed till say 7th or 8th centuries, when till that time it was called Brahmi script, adding some epithets, regional epithets, as for instance Eastern Brahmi and Northern Brahmi and Western Brahmi and Southern Brahmi, this
So
like.
from these Brahmi, the regional scripts have developed?
Yes.
Madam, are there other scripts also in which manuscripts are available?
Yes, that is after this period. So if Ashokan Brahmi belongs to 3rd century BC and Shunga period is 2nd century and 1st century BC, and after that Gupta period, what is mentioned by Professor Mukhopadhyay, is from the end of 3rd century AD to 6th or 7th century AD.
So from the 8th century onwards.
Onwards, this northern variety of Brahmi and southern variety of Brahmi and eastern variety of Brahmi and western variety of Brahmi started taking up more and more prominent regional features. So for example, in the eastern part it was Siddhamatrika, starting from 7th or early 8th century to 10th century AD, and from the end of 9th century and beginning of 10th century AD we have the Gaudi type, and this Gaudi type is the total eastern type, from which again the individual regions in the eastern part took up more and more their individual scribal features. For example, in Nepal the Newari script, in Mithila the Maithil script, in Bengal the Bengali, and in Odisha the Odia script.
So this is about the
Eastern part,
region,
yes.
but
And
what about west?
in the west, from the end of 8th century or 9th century AD, I suppose, the Sharada script started developing. And
about
further
south?
development of Sharada stopped around 12th century AD or something like that.
By the 12th century AD, Sharada was fully standardized in the form in which we see it now.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
but what about southern scripts?
yes, in the south, the southern variety of Brahmi developed into the Pallava script. It is called the Pallava script around 7th or 8th century AD. And afterwards, towards the end of 9th century and 10th century AD, the further regions in the south started developing their own features, like now Professor Mukhopadhyay can say the names, like Telugu or Tulu and
or-
Kannada, later on Kannada and Malayalam and Tamil.
Yeah, I have heard that the southern scripts were not adequate enough to represent all the Sanskrit phonemes. And
And
for
that
that
is why
another
Grantha was-
script was developed. So
It is not true about all the southern scripts.
Yeah.
Southern scripts such as Telugu, Kannada, Tulu, and Malayalam can write fully Sanskrit, and they can represent Sanskrit phonemes. Only the Tamil alphabet cannot.
and so Grantha was developed.
Yes. So in Tamil Nadu, that means in Dravida area, this Grantha script was developed for the writing of Sanskrit manuscripts.
But then you said that all these scripts have developed from Brahmi.
Southern Brahmi, yes,
Yeah.
southern form of Brahmi, yes.
Yeah, from Brahmi, Eastern,
Yes.
Western, all these.
Yes, yes.
So in modern India, I feel that all these scripts are distinctly different. At least they appear so. But from your viewpoint, if they have taken shape only from one parent script, then there can be some similarities or.
There is very striking inherent similarity, not only among the four South Indian scripts, but northern and southern, both
Or
northern
eastern
southern,
and western.
They, western and eastern, they have that inherent similarity. And not to include only Indian scripts,
but even South
Indian,
Asian.
Southeast Asian scripts, such as scripts used in Sinhala, the Sri Lanka and Burma, Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, and the old Indonesian scripts, all are variations of the Brahmi
Brahmi
script.
script.
So all these scripts have the inherent similarity with one another.
So we can call that all these scripts, if we go back,
Yes.
are converging to a point from which they have developed
Yeah.
and not diverging, to which we
No.
are at least
Yes.
Not
seeing
at all.
today.
Through script, this culture of script should be a point of national integration, even in modern India, and this can be demonstrated. How the Gaudi features are seen in the Grantha features. So far the scripts are concerned, and so on. All the Gaudi features and Sharada features, they are so similar and close to each other. So that is why the insight into the paleography, this the
Yeah.
other part of manuscriptology, is necessary, and it can be demonstrated also.
Yes.
And this should contribute towards our feeling of national integration also, so far as our cultural integration is concerned, I suppose.
Can you give certain example as which, because the similarities are striking, some interpretations take place in a funny manner or different manner?
In the development of, and changing the
Yes,
meaning of the
changing the
text.
meaning of the
Yes.
text.
For example, yes, this word, simple word gajam, meaning the elephant. Whether an elephant is taken away by a hawk or not, that is the context. But this gajam can be misread for rajam in the next stage, or by a person of other region.
Yeah, means because of the similarity
Because of
between the
the
G and R in
Ga-
certain scripts.
yes.
Which script is that?
It's the Gaudi. It can be the Gaudi, it can be the Sharada, but when it is written in one script as G, and afterwards, because the first part of Ga, if you take the example of Devanagari of modern day, this Ga, it has one stroke on the left, one stroke on the right. So if the total thing, someone reads that the Ra, it may be the left part, and the right hand part is one vowel addition for A. So if the reader reads it for Ra, then he will read for Rajam and changing it to Rajan in the vocative and say, O king. So the meaning of the verse will change from the
According-
elephant to
So
the Rajam. So this will
detailed knowledge of paleography
is
has a very
necessary.
good bearing on the manuscriptology. Otherwise,
Sure,
the interpretation.
It cannot be deciphered, and
Yeah.
if it is misread at this stage again, as the copyist of the manuscripts had done, we cannot interpret. On the other hand, observing the manuscript material through the knowledge of paleography, we can trace maybe the history of the mistakes,
Yes.
which is the most interesting part. And the converging point and the inherent similarity can be demonstrated by
Yeah, we should
showing
do
some figures, some graphs of different scripts of modern India and the previous part of it also.
Here, friends, we can say that manuscriptology and paleography, as I have said to you again, that these two branches go very much hand in hand, and detailed knowledge of them is essential for the purpose. So today we have known about what are manuscripts, where do the manuscripts are found, means the location of manuscripts, importance of them, the safeguards for the preservation and conservation of manuscripts, then comes the point of protection of manuscripts, and then comes the necessity of learning the scripts in detail. So friends, we have got very much enlightening and interesting information from these two scholars. Thank you, Madam Basu. Thank you, Professor Mukhopadhyay. Thank you very much.